Good evening and welcome to the stream. This is part 14 in our ongoing journey to finish Might and Magic 2 on Mac. And on last night's stream we tried out a lot of different things, and for a while there got pretty frustrated, but eventually did finish the Snow Beast part of the town of Tundra, and managed to get an emerald ring, which is a armor class hike for all of the characters in the party. So we hiked up our armor class by a value of almost 15 for most of the characters, and then we finished the ground level of Castle Pinehurst. So we eventually got some work done, and in the end we leveled up most of the single skill characters, the knight, the cleric, and the robber, to level 14. So we're not terribly far away from being able to level the rest of the party up to level 14 were about 50 to 75,000 experience points short, depending on which character it is. So the plan for tonight is to start off by going into the Forbidden Forest and visit the cavern there. We made a stop there many streams ago and many levels ago, so we should have gained a significant amount of experience since then, and should be far better prepared to take it on. So I'm gonna start by switching over to the game menu. I ran and purchased some food and saved the game, so we are fully stocked on food and ready to go. All the characters are empty. We've sold all of our loot, so we'll head out into the Forbidden Forest, which is just in the next outside square. And the Forbidden Cavern was, as I remember, in the last square of either the first or the second coordinate in the map here. Here it is. A cold draft emerges from the opening of a web-strewn shaft. Go down. Yes, we'll go down. And there is no mapping that has been done here because we've never survived a trip down here before. Yeah, had a pretty tough time the first time we went down here. So never really got very far, but we've leveled up a lot since then, and this is probably the next thing on the agenda. The plan then, after we if we successfully finish this, is to go visit the Druid cave again. We left one mission there, which was to finish off the runaway Druid, which at the time was way too difficult for us. He had something like 200 or 400 hit points and a high armor class, and we had no spells at the time to really take care of him. But since then we've gained quite a few, so it's time to revisit that and see if we can finish it off. You can see that what we've been facing here so far has not been terribly difficult. So this is going fairly easy now. It should still provide us with a decent amount of different items and experience. There are a bunch of these goblins here. This seems to be Goblin Center. And of course there are many squares on the map that we haven't mapped out yet. So the outside world is still something that we haven't barely even scratched the surface of. So when we finish these caverns in the already mapped areas, we will head out to other areas and continue mapping them. Probably starting around the area of Zanzibar, which is the second town in the game which we've finished. We should be able to explore all of the surrounding areas as well. See how far we get tonight. This is the best laid plans of mice and men tend to get ruined in this game, because you end up in some kind of battle which is difficult that you have to repeat again and again. We spent many hours just working out the snow beast and how to best both get to the snow beast and to remove the ring without being caught. eventually did find a good solution on the stream last night. So now we've finished these here. These are slightly more difficult. We'll use the magic on the trolls, and use the melee on the mutants here. They are mostly immune to magic. Still not to spells such as the swarming spell, which is really just a melee spell which sends bees. Now, this was a far more difficult fight than the fight we've been having with the goblins, but still pretty easy. Another one, almost identical. We'll take care of these mutants first. They use these energy plus spells, which do significantly more damage than the troll does to us. But thankfully, we've also raised our armor class significantly, so at this point we don't take on nearly as much damage as we did. It's a nice departure from the time that we spent in the castles, where we've had to worry about pretty much every step we take about ending up dead, and be able to mostly just go to these battles and finish them with a quick fight. We are, however, at a point right now where we are probably running out of space to store all of these items here, so we might simply have to head back into town to get rid of all of this stuff, sell it before we run out of space. Might even start dropping some of the less valuable items here. There are plenty of these very low priced items here that we could simply just drop, so we can potentially fit some more expensive items. We already have some roughly 400,000 gold per party member. That's 2.4 million total, which is given that there aren't a great deal of items that you can purchase in the game, it's more than enough gold for us. In the I remember in some of the series that I played, at some point there was an option of swapping gold for experience points, so you were able to do a 1-on-1 swap, basically buy experience points for gold, and that is pretty much the only point of collecting gold at this point. So that hoping that we find something like that, so we can at a later point in the game where experience is getting hard to come by and you need a lot of experience to gain a level, where you could potentially swap something like 2 million gold for 2 million experience points. We will continue dropping items here that have little value. All the non-plus items have a low value. We'll rather make space for the more expensive items. We will rest now and again just to make sure that we don't end up in a battle that we can't win. So far, all the battles on one side were goblins, and on this side it appears to be exclusively orcs. We ended up in a battle with 75 lepers, which is at least a worthwhile battle. With cast the awaken spell here, wake the rest of the party up. Attempting to try to use some of the multi-monster spells such as the Deadly Swarm to start taking down the lepers. They are far more capable than perhaps immediately obvious, because they can take quite a bit of damage. When there are 60 plus of them, they certainly something that you need to give some consideration to, at least. Worthwhile in terms of experience gained to make an attempt at taking them all down here, even if it costs us quite a bit of gems to cast all of this magic. Yeah, outside of one area in a dungeon, we haven't really had much luck in finding a regular source of the gems, and we are going back to the Druid's cave later, and there is a square there where we can find 200 gems. That's basically the only place I've found so far that is a regular source of gems. So we will at least, since we have to go there anyway, we will at least use the opportunity to pick up the 200 gems. What is extremely fortunate here is that due to the fact that we've raised our armor class this high, they're barely making a dent in our hit points, even if there are so many of them. Most of their hits simply just miss. So despite the sheer numbers, we've been successful in bringing them down here, and we received some 14,000 experience points here. And we will cast a Cure Disease spell on the deceased party members before resting, restoring our hit points and spell points. See what we find here in the chest. Get a decent amount of gold. So that is completed. We're now back in this room. We've gone a full circle here. Maybe we could potentially do is enter into this room that is labeled, the door was labeled War Room. And here are 21 werewolves and werewolves. We'll start casting spells. Start working on taking these down here. We're only really fighting the werewolves so far. The werewolves are lightly waiting their turn for the battle. So we've been able to mostly attack them from range. This went well. 4462 experience points. Some valuable items found as well. I assume there are more encounters waiting for us. There is also obviously a hidden level here that we will need to access. Okay, the sign says Paladins only, and this is an interesting combination of various different kinds of beasts here. We want to take down the cockatrice, which is one of the stone monsters. And we want to take down the armored dragon as well. So that is certainly capable of causing a lot of damage to us. We already have one member in the party that has been turned to stone. So potentially we want to fix that first chance we get. And we also have a party member that has been rendered unconscious. We will use the stone to flesh spell on Sir Lancelot. We'll use the power cure to wake William Tell up here. So have him shoot at the dragon. Also wake up the knight. The dragon still has hit points. Surprisingly, we've hit it a lot of times by now. Seems to have hundreds of hit points. Finally, it goes down, leaving just a single mutant here. And it goes down as well. 12,137 experience points to be gained by doing this. Now, to use the Paladin only door, we need to return to this area with just the Paladin. So, when we went there, we got sent back to a random location here. Right now we're in a room that hasn't been accessible to us. We will do a little bit more exploring since we're already here. As before, I will check every wall for a secret message. You never know when the wall is hiding a message from you, dropping some hint or a solution to a puzzle or a location that we need to be aware of. to finish some later stage of the game. This is an extensive area here that we've gone through. Hidden area. So, we will now explore the other side of this area. This door is marked GHQ. We already went through it, and here is another unlabeled door. I assume that the G stands for guard, so this was the guard headquarters. That was the encounter that we just had with the main guards in the cavern. This appears to be a mirror of the other side. It's identical, just from the other side. And realistically with no actual way out, so we will simply use the spell to move one forward here, ending up in here, and returning to the surface. More than halfway done with the with this cave. I'm not really interested in having this fight with the Cavaliers, but we can do so anyway. It's mostly there to guard our entrance to the cave. We'll run back to Millgate and sell some of our stuff here. Probably buy some food as well. Plenty of various items here. We are 32,000 off here. That for the robber, we can train the robber up to level 14 now. Big Butei, the Highland Cleric, can also go to level 13. Also means that he's gained a spell level, so we will have to take him on our journey to the third town and see about having him learn some additional clerical spells. Or let's see, maybe he just learned them automatically. He did. So now we have access to Earth Encasement and Fiery Flail, as well as the Moonray spell. All three of which are immediately useful to us. Oddly enough, the Highling Clerics get access to every spell, whereas the Party Clerics, they need to both learn them and also in many cases find them. And they are spread around the outside areas as well as the caverns, so not all of them are immediately available to us. And we'll use the teleport spell to go forward 3 squares here. We don't have to get into the fight, and we'll go directly to the to this area here. Now we have to have this fight with the ogres here again, which are not very difficult. We can fight both of them without resting. Rest before proceeding, and go into this area here marked Legions, and here are 8 of the crazed dwarves, which at some point were extremely difficult for us, but We should now be able to take down a few of them before they craze, and should also be able to take the hit from the rest of them, so this isn't particularly difficult at this point. We'll drop the sextant here. It isn't really worth very much. We'll continue exploring this area here. This door is marked or labeled 7th Legion. Here is a message. No tasteless orc jokes allowed, the Sarge. So I assume that the legions here are orc based, probably of the mutant swine or similar origin. Since they don't seem to have humor about orc jokes, which actually abound in this game. Now here are 250 goblins, and I will simply start by beating them slowly down. We have a high armor class, and it should take a lot of time for them to actually cause us any real damage. And in addition to that, there are only 2 of them at the front, so there's a lot of blocking going on. And so far we haven't lost a hit point, and we've reduced our number by some 50. This should be doable. It will just take a little bit of time. We won't have to use any magic or waste much time doing this. My mouse is getting a good training here in pushing the button, because I'm also using it to speed up the messages. More goblins have been added. We were down to roughly 100, and then they added 80 more or so, so we went back to almost 200. Down to less than 100, so it's progressing. $8,700 experience points, and a little bit of gold as well. We didn't lose a single hit point, so not even going to rest. Now, this is a similar battle, except it features 250 orcs. These shaman, which we will take down. Start by taking them down. They are more powerful, and then we will big fight the orcs. Will probably take a while as well. There are so many of them. And I assume, similarly to the goblins, that eventually they will add some of their friends to the mix as well. So they will eventually end up far more than 250 of them. This is going fairly well. Only been here about half an hour, and we are at least 2/3 done with this dungeon. So it's looking like we will be able to get a lot more done on tonight's stream. Just as before, as soon as we hit 100, I added some 90 more, so bringing us back up to 190. We lost a total of 17 hit points so far from a few members of the party. We are not in any real danger. I'm keeping an eye on the hit points. I will use the power cure spell to liven up Big Boutte a little bit. He was starting to look pretty low. We decided to not give him an emerald ring for protection, because he was already using many other items that he had equipped, which were more valuable to us at the time. And he's at the back of the party, so he rarely gets hit. In some of these cases, we might change our mind at some later point of the game. The thief, for example, is currently using a thief's pick, which at some point he will be leveled high enough that he won't need. Then we can remove it and replace it with the emerald ring, which will bring his armor class up to close to 30 instead of 14. We also haven't really done the specialized class quests yet. There is a specialized quest for each class that we need to take, the first of which is available in this cavern, which is the Paladin quest. We might try that after we finish the rest of this cavern. We will then go back to town and return only with Sir Roland the Paladin and the robber. The robber can follow every class on its own quest. Try our hand at the Paladin's quest. We might not be leveled up high enough to do it, but we will try anyway. So, we found a little bit of golden gems. Not a lot, actually, considering all the effort, but some. Now I assume all of these are difficult There are 2 hidden areas here. There doesn't appear to be anything in them, but there are here. At least seen both of them, so go through these doors here, starting with the door labeled MPs. I assume that at least one of these is the main battle. These are gnomes, lots and lots of gnomes. They are simply running away from us for the most part. Killed a few, and most of them ran away. We found a lot of golden gems. Worthwhile battle. And go to the room that is labeled command. Waiting for us here. There are quite a few of these mutants here. They are more difficult, certainly. They have the capability of casting the energy blast. And they are mostly immune to magic, so they're at least capable of delivering a great deal more damage. We need to at least be careful of what we're doing here. Potentially use healing spells to help us along while we slowly fight them down. It's almost a welcome change from the from all the mindless fighting we've been doing for a while now. I'm also using the clerics for battle spells. There are so many of them here that I think it's wise to try our hand at taking them down using spells as well. Now, one thing we can potentially do, since Sir Roland is the Paladin is actually not in front right now, is that we can use the Paladin to heal. It really serves no other purpose in the party right now. Gives us an additional healer, so we then have 3 healers in the party. What we don't want is we don't want any of the members to be unconscious while they take another hit, because that would mean that they would die on the next hit. In case the mutant gets lucky and gets a good strike at us, want to keep the hit points to a fairly high level, so it won't be taken down. And there are 10 of them left now, and we are still breathing. So Roland is running out of spell points for the power cure, but we still have quite a few of them left with the clerics themselves. There are now 6 of them left, and We are slowly losing count, which also means that we are slowly getting to the point where we aren't as worried about getting hit. We'll thread carefully anyway. This would have potentially been a very difficult battle for us not too long ago, but we survived. Gained some 10,000 experience points for doing so, and almost more than 60,000 gold. So I assume that the most difficult battle is left, which would then be the battle here in the middle, which is labeled the Sarge. And here's a single monster capable of casting fireballs. I will use the identify monster. He has 500 hit points and armor class of 40. So it will take us a decent amount of power to take him down. Let's see if he can stand the fiery flail. Yes, he can. We will use the power cure or magic dispel. And we will use the power cure on William Tell as well. We will then think about what to do next. I don't think we can use the Moonray indoors, that is correct. But perhaps the earth encasement, no. The entire crew is dead here by this point. Okay. This was difficult. We will go attempt the rest again. Even if it takes a little time, we will have to do the goblin and orc battles again. And we will then go back, save our status before we attempt this particular battle again. We can do all the other ones fairly easily, as we've already found out. Just a matter of actually beating all of them down here. Oh. Here are the goblins, and we will again beat all of them down. When we return here to finish off the final boss, we will skip these battles, but as I've done in the game, I finish every battle once for the most part. Many of them you could potentially skip by running away or using the teleport spell, but I tend to want to fight every of these at least once. And the more tedious ones that serve little purpose like this one, we won't do them more than once. These are a total of some 300 plus goblins. And there's little challenge in this for us. It's mostly just a long and tedious battle. They're slowly losing count. There are less than 100 of them now. And the rest. And it's the orcs and the shaman battle that we had previously as well. We will go through again. This one is slightly more difficult, so I will at least keep an eye on the hit points of the party here. The orcs do manage the occasional hit. Need to keep an eye on particularly the sorcerer, the hireling cleric, as well as the robber that has a very low armor class. Robber is down to some 14 hit points, so we will take the time to heal him here. Bringing him back over the 100 mark. The orc has added his friends and has brought the total back to 200. Now it's the secondary cleric that has reached 10 hit points, so we'll use a power cure spell on him and bring him up to 100 again. There are now 120 of them left. Down to less than 50, so we've already taken down some 250 of them. I will cure the robber was down to 0. Continue. The knight that has been at the forefront of this battle for all 300 of them still has 40 hit points remaining and has never been cured. So I think that means that our armor class at this point is fairly good. Now we will finish this room that featured the mutants. This time around we will cast a protection from element spell fairly quickly in the game, as well as the holy bonus spell. Yeah, magic does very little for us against these, except perhaps for some very powerful spells, which are then a bit of a waste of gems. We will use the power cure spell to heal the characters as we go on. Read carefully, as we did previously. Was the till we face the main boss here, most difficult of the battles so far in this cavern. I've mentioned it before, but I keep forgetting it, that each time you get cocky in this game, it will kill you. Never allows you to get very sure of yourself. That's a nasty way of always having the surprise waiting for you. It sure does help immensely to have such a high armor class and to have this many hit points at this point, so we don't constantly end up in a situation where our members are unconscious because the mutants, in addition to being able to cast the energy blast, they take a lot of hits. So as soon as we lose one party member to unconsciousness, that also means that we're not able to use that particular party member during that turn. So we lose his ability to afflict damage as well, making it even more difficult to fight the monsters. Now the power cure spell, it gets more powerful by each passing level of the cleric. So it's capable of restoring more and more hit points, but has more and more cost in terms of gems associated with it, because often the amount of gems that a spell costs is tied to both the spell and the experience level of the caster, so it's often a fixed number of gems plus 1 gem or 2 gems per experience level of the caster. And that also means that the spell is then more powerful as well. So the same spell, although it's a level 1 spell, now has many times the efficiency that it once did. We're in the same position as we were earlier. I will now return. It's simply the smart thing to do. Return back to the surface and save our progress and sell some of this loot for returning, and we'll start by going to the other side and finishing that part, and then we will finish by doing the most difficult battles, as well as finishing perhaps the Paladin only quest. Have to see if our Paladin is at a level high enough to be able to do that at this point. Now there are some items we found here but that are perhaps of value to us. The silver shield +4 is a decently good shield and perhaps usable by one of the clerics. 20 to 16 to 23. This is a much better shield than the cleric had, and that brings his armor class to 23. Pretty big bonus for us. Then there is also a plate armor +5 here, which is currently better than what the Paladin has, but he can't use it. But perhaps the knight can. Use of different alignment, yes he can. And potentially then Sir Hiron can use this one. He already has a +3. Okay, so you can sell this +3. That was a cheap armor class upgrade for us. And we will visit the training grounds as well. So Roland was able to train for level 14. William Tell is able to train for level 14 as well. So we only need 2393 for the mage. So we will simply do one run down here and finish off a single group of barbarians to level up the sorcerer to level 14 as well. We get 6,000 for beating them, so that's an easy task. I will start by selling the loot here. Always get pretty good loot from the barbarians, and then I will go train Magica the spell and gain her an additional level, and we are then at level 14 for everyone except for the Highling Cleric, which is still at level 13. He joined the party pretty late. I will go buy some additional food as well. Then we will save our position and go finish the Forest Cavern. Each level that we gain is valuable for us in terms of resistance to magic, as well as additional hit points and additional skills. Thief is now at 93% thievery. We need 7 more levels to reach 100 at this point. Assuming that we don't find other magical means of increasing his abilities. We will have this fight with the ogres here. They are easy enough. Are good target practice. Doesn't take very long to finish them off. Now we will now finish the rooms here on the other side after completing these dwarves here. See, the 7th Legion was the marking on this particular door. This is probably very similar to the rooms on the other side, at least that appears so. Yes, here are 249 Kobold Captains. This is a similar battle to the Orc and Goblin battles that we fought on the other side. I assume they will also add friends, so when we bring them down to 100, they will bring more of their friends to the fight. They are losing count fairly quickly because they are also running away from us, so we are not having to beat every one of them. They are scared witless. Here we go. This is a identical battle to the one on the other side. These are the orcs again. This would have been incredibly tedious for us maybe 3 or 4 levels ago, because we would have to heal on a fairly regular basis. At this point, it's mostly a matter of just clicking the mouse. They've already added their friends, so slowly losing count here. Oh, they actually hadn't had their friends, so now they have. Well, now we have 190 of them left. Yeah, it depends on the level of the monster and your own level, whether they run away. I don't know how long you've been here. Now your mom, welcome to the stream, but in the fight that we just had with the Cobalt Captains of the other side, many of them ran away. So we ended up only having to beat maybe 200 of them. But in this particular fight that we've had now, on each side of the aisle, we get them down to around the 100 mark, and then they add some 100 more. But in the end, we end up having to beat 350 of them to proceed. Now we need to heal the robber. He's down to 2 hit points after fighting some 250 of them or so. Heal him and then continue beating them down. But welcome to the stream, your mom. Good to see you back here. We are in the Forbidden Forest Cavern, which is in the outside area of C3, and it's mostly been battles with lower level monsters, but many of them, we've found a few that have been far more difficult. But, there haven't been many of them. We left this room here on the other side. This is the captain of the legions. He was very difficult. We will attempt him again. He killed us earlier. And basically in a similar room to this, labeled as Sarge. I assume these are similarly difficult, but the ones on the other side were not nearly as difficult, and we managed to complete them fairly easily. So this is basically the same battle with the mutants here. It's just a matter of patience with the mutants. You have to use some healing spells, and I will also cast the protection from elements spell and the bless spell to increase our chance of hitting them, or the holy bonus spell, which is really the advanced version of the bless spell. Then we just have to slowly heal the party, try to make sure that we don't lose anyone. I have this ability to cast the energy blast, which takes away a decent amount of hit points, so need to watch the party to see which we need to heal. I do slowly lose count. We've already killed 9 of them. They are largely immune to magic as well, so many of the spells that we use on a regular basis, like the lightning bolt spell, don't work on them. So yeah, got unlucky this time around and lost Sir Hiron. We will have to go back and heal him once we finish the fight on the other side as well. We would have gone back anyway, so it's fine. We will simply not get the experience from this particular battle. We'll stick with the plan here. There are now 9 of them left. We're slowly bringing them down. Now 2 party members are gone. This is by far the worst this battle has gone. We've done it 2 times now before without much issue. We're still going to get through this alive. They're gone. Search for treasure, and we will finish the other side as well, because it's probably a mirror of the battle of the other side, and if it is, then it's just a bunch of gnomes, which aren't that difficult. Even if we're 2 party members down, it's still a fairly easy fight. Simply just beat them down here. So we can finish this up. Okay, now we're done with this side, except for the head honcho here, which we will leave for now. We will go back, restore our condition. Before returning. Won't be able to sell anything as for Paladin right now because we're very much dead. Blacksmith has this problem with dealing with dead party members. He doesn't like it. You would think at this point that he would be used to it, but he's not. Let's see, it would be interesting if we could perhaps wear this potted armor that we found here. It's not given that we can, but it's interesting to try anyway. No, we can't. Been very unlucky so far with the potted armor, and we've rarely been able to use any of the ones that we've been able to find. So it's the way it is. We'll sell it. Save again and return. Now we have 2 of these head honcho battles left here, both of which are probably difficult. We'll try each one of them 3 times. And then we will return with just a paladin and a robber, because there is also a specific paladin only quest here. And see if we can finish that one off. We'll simply go directly here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares forward. Now we're inside this room, and we've found this devil's envoy here. Now the question remains, what is it that we can do? The cold beam does not affect him. Prismatic light does not affect him. We will the fiery flail does not affect him. We already tried that. We will cast the holy bonus. I think we already tried the earth encasement. So I will try it again. He's not affected. He's not affected by the fireball. He's affected by the disintegration spell. Okay. That's useful. Try to cure up here. And, it's very hard to hit, and he has a huge number of hit points. So just staying alive to continue beating him is extremely difficult. And he also has a very high armor class, so it's also difficult in general to beat at all. We will continue trying to cure. One of our problems is that we can't keep the mage conscious enough to be able to cast these spells. The only one that worked was the disintegration spell. At least it worked once. He's perhaps not susceptible to it every time. We'll try anyway. Yeah, now he takes 50 points of damage. That's a significant amount of his total. It goes down. We get 36,666 experience points. Lost 2 party members, but we made it through the fight. And we found the plate armor +9, which we can potentially use some of our knights and paladins. So, we will run away from this particular battle here and go directly back to town and heal up. It's unfortunate that we lost 2 members. We lost the Paladin and we lost the Hireling Knight, so it did not benefit from the experience points that we got. We did our best. There is another of these fights remaining. See about this plate armor here, see what we can do with it. It's potentially very useful if we can actually use it. It's not for neutral alignment, perhaps it is for good alignment. It it is, then it's very valuable to us. No, it's not. So this plate armor is only for evil alignment. That makes it far less useful, since that can only be used by the robber who isn't a knight or a paladin. Our only option here is to we could potentially keep it, since it's a very highly charged item, in case we have a later time hireling that needs a high armor class, but not immediately useful for us. Now let's go finish up what is probably the same fight on the other side of the dungeon, potentially against the same enemy. We are somewhat wiser now. We know that the disintegration spell works, so we can start casting that right away. Now, getting there is slightly more difficult, but what we really don't want to do, we really don't want to have this endless fight with the orcs again, so at least we are able to go here, and I will cast the protection from element spell before going into the battle, just in case this is not the same monster. So we will have to go back to the drawing board. I will try the cold beam spell. He's not affected by the cold beam spell. He is affected by the disintegration spell. The difference here is that he only attacked one of the party members. He's not affected by the fiery flail, and he's able to cast aging spells, which is very annoying for us. How much did he age prior attack? By a year or two. Okay. That is not good at all. Your prior attack. We still haven't found any Fountain of Youth in this game. So we still aren't able to fix problems due to aging, but I'm fairly sure that we will at some point, but we don't want to age too much before we get to that point. So these are dangerous fights that we're having here, very dangerous. Now we tried the fiery flail without any success. There is perhaps the earth encasement spell. We can try it. No, he's not affected. Most of the melee battles against him are doing very little actual damage. There are very few spells here that are likely to help us at all, except for a disintegration spell, which works maybe every other time and takes about 50 away. He seems to have a lot of hit points left. And, what's our age like here? We are not in any immediate danger, at least. Water encasement does not work either. I wonder how many hit points he has left at this stage. Okay, the Deadly Swarm spell does work. You seem to gain a year every time he successfully uses the aging spell against us, which is admittedly not enough, but we've gone through quite a few rounds with this little fucker at this stage. He finally goes down. We get 28,750 experience points. We find something called a burning crossbow +6, and if we can use that with the archer, then that is certainly worth it. No, we cannot. But potentially we can use it with the, well, not the nuts or iron in any case. We don't have any long range weapons on the potentially the robber are doubtful. It's very doubtful. I'll try it anyway. No, it's not the correct alignment either. It has to be a good alignment. So it's basically can't be worn here either because he's neutral. Yes. So it's really only the Paladin that could potentially use it, and he has a double-handed weapon, and he's also using all of his slots. So this is in fact, annoyingly enough, not something we can use. I will still keep it. It's a valuable weapon. Perhaps we can later on find a higher link. I will accept the aging of the characters during this battle for now. It's not a problem still. I'm going to run away from this battle here. Can't be bothered to have this fight. And we're gonna go to town and sell some of this loot. Save our current position. Just waiting to be able to run away here. Yes, we'll rest. Now, yes, we will go to the outside. Teleport out of the woods. Go here. Because we need to return with just the Paladin and the robber to attempt the Paladin only quest. See what that actually brings us. We will now remove everyone except for the Paladin and the robber and make another trip. One potential problem is that we might not be able to traverse the wooden areas. No, we cannot. So one obvious solution to that particular problem is to go back and buy a teleport orb. Might not get one here. We might have to go to another town. Yeah, we probably do. Yes. So, go to Zanzibar, see if we can buy a teleport orb here. No, this is the tavern. Blacksmith is on this side here. Doesn't have one either at this stage. Go over to Tundra, see if we can buy one here. He doesn't have one either, so let's go to Volcania. He doesn't have one. That leaves Atlantium. See, I got lost somewhere. Yes. The blacksmith is here. Here it is. Once purchased, we can go directly back to Millgate. I will save. Will that be? And restore with the teleport orb. Because we will probably have to attempt this more than once. I will, as I've done many times before now, use it 3 times. Try it 3 times before giving up. We'll go down. Now, Paladin only. There's a frost dragon. Protection from elements seems like a wise idea. I will use the power cure and burn over. What's the most powerful spell that we have? There isn't really all that much. We don't really have a lot of spell points left. All we can do is quick fight. We weren't successful. We'll try again. What we can do is we can cast protection from the elements before going into battle. Might help us a little bit. It very often seems to do little. I don't have a sorcerer with me, so I don't know how many hit points this dragon has. Actually, he has a lot of them. I forgot to cast a spell, so we will do it again. So I'll do it now. And it only costs us 2 spell points. Which is good because we don't have a lot of them. Our focus with this character is not really magic, so he doesn't really have any magical items which increase his spell points. He's using all of his slots for mostly fighting purposes. So he's fairly weak in that sense. One thing that we could potentially do is One thing we could potentially do is try to buy some healing items as well. We can then use from the characters themselves. That is potentially useful. We will travel all the way over to Atlantium again. I think that's the whether it was here. No, it's not here. No. Might have been in Vulcania as well. I will check it out. Somewhere here were these herbal patches, which we can. Here they are. We'll buy as many of them as we can fit to our backpacks without having to get rid of some of the items we are carrying. This is at least an experiment. And we will travel back probably quicker to just go to Atlantium and run over to Middlegate from there, save, go back. Yes. This is not the battle I was going to have. Bad idea. Probably perish here. Yes. Wrong door. This is why we save. It's correct. Cast the protection from elements here. Go directly in. Attack. 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 We will then have Pink Panther use the herbal patch if we can. Whose turn is it? Pink Panther's turn. We will use the herbal patch on ourselves. Doesn't really do a lot of healing, but it does a little bit. And we will use it. Another one. Gain a few every time. And now we can use the power cure spell. And we can use one of the herbal patches on Sir Roland here. This isn't really, but we survive. We managed to bring him down. We get 11,000 experience points. You have proven yourself worthy. Now return to the Jurors of Mount Fairview. Okay. And this is all we need to do. To finish the Paladin quest. And we made it through. We need to get rid of some of these patches here. Because there are things we are finding here that we need to be able to pick up. Found a flail, +4. We are not going to get another chance of getting into this room, and I want to use the opportunity to be able to map it. I made the very conscious decision to not have the thief as a as a gambler, which would have increased his luck, but rather have one of his skills as a cartographer. And that decision was made partially because we very much need to be able to map when we're on these quests with the characters. Now, we've finished the Paladin quest. So I will go to my document here in a while and write that down. Going to keep the teleport orb on the Paladin. I will rejoin crew here. I will in the correct order as well. Sir Lancelot in front, then Sir Roland, followed by Sir Hiron, and then William Tell, followed by Friar Tuck, then the Pink Panther, then Big Boutte, then Magic of the Spell. Or was it the other way around? I think it was the other way around. Magic of the Spell was last. No, she wasn't. It was like this. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now it's a question of the jurors. Paladins should rid the Forbidden Forest of its dungeon-dwelling frost dragon at X8Y8. Okay, we can cross this off. We've completed this, and learn more from the jurors of Mount Fairview in D2 X7Y0. So this is where we are going right now to claim our reward. Not sure if you can bring the rest of the party, but we will try anyway. So now we're in D2 and we should go to X7Y0. Now we are in X7, go 4 squares down. Plaque left by the jurors of Mount Fairview reads, for each character class a test of true standing must be completed. If you have already completed the test, your reward is 5 million experience points. And recognition in the form of a plus. Classes must go alone without the rest of the party or in the company of robbers, who must aid at least one class to earn their mark. Knights must defeat the Dread Knight of Jouster's Way. Paladins must defeat the Frost Dragon who resides in the dungeon beneath the Forbidden Forest. Archers must stop Baron Wilfrid from terrorizing Falcon Forest. Clerics have to reunite the soul of Mighty Korak with his body. We've already attempted this and failed many times. Sorcerers must release both the good and the evil wizards from the Isle of the Ancients. Ninjas must assassinate the chaotic dawn of Dawn's Mist. Barbarians must defeat Brutal Bruno, the Barbarian Chieftain. Okay. And we've now completed this, and he's now a Paladin Plus. And in addition to that, the Robber is also a Robber Plus, and we gained 5 million experience points. So that means that we are able to go back to Millgate and level him up. I would say significantly. It's more than a few levels. So we can level both the Robber and the Paladin up a lot. So 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. Okay, we gained 3 levels. More than 3 levels. We were at 15, we're at 21. Okay, we went from 14 to 20. 6 levels. So 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, 6 levels that we can level up. So now Sir Roland has 202 hit points, and we will move him to the front of the party, where he will replace the knight. And in addition to that, he is now also a spell level 7, and the next time he levels up, he will be a spell level 8. So he's now at the same spell level as the cleric, and the robber now has a thievery percentage of 99. The question now is, can we remove this? No, we go to 79. We're at 99. We need one more level to reach 100. So he's now a very powerful robber. This was a major hike for us. What is now tempting is to try the same with the knights, and it's slightly easier because we already have a leveled up thief and we have 2 knights. So this is a party of 3. And what we should do is we should go over to Atlantium and buy a teleport orb, because we might need it, and most likely we will need it. We are not really interested in having any other battles than just a battle that we need to finish to gain the experience needed to visit the Mount Juror again. And we'll go and purchase some herbal patches here in Kenya as well. We'll have Sir Lancelot buy a few of them. I'll buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 to start with. Sir Hiron really has nothing of value here. We will trade this and sell it. Don't know if we have any. No, we don't have any more space. I will sell this shield here. It doesn't really need any of this. We will make room. To trade some of these herbal patches here. I will move a full set to Sir Hiron. Sell this spike club here as well. We will buy more of them, as many as we could potentially use. We can fit one more with Sir Hiron. Yeah. Pink Panther has space for 2 more as well. Now we have 4 of them. We can buy one more, because we also need to fit the teleport orb, which we will have to get in Atlantium. We'll go to Atlantium, buy yet another teleport orb. And all characters are filled with items, and if we find something of value, we will simply, if we don't use them, we will simply drop them. The low cost associated with this here. So now we will run over to E3X5Y14, which is the Dread Knight. Which means that we need to go down here to C3 and go the other way. Run through this space here. Go to B3 and go to X5, Y14 to one of these fights with the druids here. Easy. Not really interested in the items, but of course we can't swim, so we should now travel some 7 squares forward. Hoping that's not in the water. It's not. So now we are in X5, Y3, and we can move forward here. X5, Y5, we should be in 14. That's 9 more. So we will use the teleport orb again to go forward 9 squares. That should basically land us exactly where we want to be. Yes. A flurry of motion pervades Josta's way. Banners fly and trumpets blare as ladies and nobles view the tournament from colorful tents. Riding a restless stallion, the Dread Knight gallops toward your knight, lance braced ready at his side. So we have 2 monsters here. We have the Dread Knight and a Conjurer who ran away. Now, the question remains, how many hit points does this dude have? We can use the robber to heal us a little bit. It isn't perfect, but it is what it is. Still has a herbal patch he can use. Even though it's not a lot of hit points that we gain, it's still a little bit. Down goes the Dread Knight. We received 26,666 experience points. We have proven our worthiness by slaying the Dread Knight. The Jurors atop Mount Fairview await you with your reward. We will drop these herbal patches here. We have no use for them anymore. We will rest. Search for the treasure. Found 2,000 gold. We will travel downwards using the teleport orb, some 9 squares. Go 2 squares forward and additional 7 in the other direction. We find ourselves back here. We'll go back to town, fetch the rest of the party. Found an Akinata plus 13, which is a very powerful weapon. There's a question of whether we can actually use it. It can only be used by ninjas and knights. If we can use it, then it's very powerful. It's the wrong alignment. Sadly, both of our knights are neutral, so this is not an item that we can actually use. But potentially we could use it with the ninja hireling, so I will keep it anyway. Won't find anything like it ever again. Plus 13 item is not something that you just find lying around. Now to order the party again. The friar comes here, the robber is at 6, magic of the spell is at 7, and then Big Potay is the last one. I'm using Big Potay to store these various items that we've found. I will probably have to place this with the sorcerer now. I will save this current position here, and we will go to the jurors again and receive our reward this time around. There are 2 members who will get this reward. Reward won't go to the robber again. It's not possible. So I will cross this night quest off the document here. We need to go back to D2. Is on the other side here. Clearly marked on the map. We already know this, so we've read this before. Sir Lancelot is now a Knight Plus, and Sir Hiron is a Knight Plus. The Pink Panther didn't get his second, won't get it again. That would be unfair, but we now have 2 Knight characters who are leveling up, some 6 levels now. And just like that, we go from level 14 and all the way up to 20. This is an enormous boost for us. Sir Lancelot and Sir Roland and Sir Hiron now have some over 200 hit points. So what is potentially useful for us now is to go fetch second archer. I know there was an archer here somewhere. There is another archer that we left in one of the towns here. I'm tempted to say it's either here or in Tundra. I will check it. Firefly was a cleric. We don't need him again. Dark Mage is a sorcerer. That's not on the agenda right now. However, I will travel to Tundra, see if that was the place where we left the Highling Archer. Gertrude was a barbarian. Ratfink was a robber. These are not characters we are going to use. I'm mostly interested in just adding another archer to the party to make it slightly more easier for us to finish the quest. Here is another barbarian and another sorcerer. Now Atlantium awaits. See whether it holds the highling that we need. Down at the bottom again, I got lost here a little bit.